passage behind may lead to or what is waiting for you inside. But now Philly and Achilles' news seemed good enough. So they all got up and prepared to move. The wind was howling and the thunder was still growling. And they had a business getting there, themselves and their ponies along. Still, it was not very far to go, and before long they came to a big rock standing out into the path. If you stepped behind, you found a low arc in the side of the mountain. There was just a room to get the ponies through with a squeeze. When they had been unpacked and unsaddled, as they passed under the arc, it was good to hear the wind out and the rain outside instead of all about them, and to feel safe from the giants and their rocks. But the wizard was taking no risk. He lit up his wand as he did in the day in Bilbo's dining room. That seemed long ago. If you remember, and by its light they explored the cave from end to end. It seemed quite a fair size, but not too large and mysterious. It had a dry floor and some comfortable nooks at one end. There was room for the ponies, and they stood mighty glad of the change, steaming and champing in the nose bags. Owen and Gloin wanted to light a fire, so they spread out their wet things on the floor and got dry ones out of the bare bundles. Then they made their blankets comfortable, got out their pipes and blew smoke rings, which Gandalf turned into different colors instead of dancing up the roof to amuse them. They talked and forgot about the storm, and discussed what each would do with his share of the treasure. When they got it, which at the moment did not seem so impossible, and so they dropped off to sleep by one, and that was the last time that they used the ponies, packages, baggages, tools, and paraphernalia that they had brought with them. It turned out a good thing that night that they had brought little Bilbo with them. After all, for somehow he could not go to sleep for a long time. And when he did sleep, he had a very nasty dream. He dreamed that a crack in the wall at the back of the cave got bigger and bigger and opened wider and wider. He was very afraid, but could not call out or do anything but lie and look. There he dreamed that the floor of the cave was giving away, and he was slipping, beginning to fall down. Goodness nowhere to. At that he woke up with a horrible start and found the part of the dream was true. A crack opened at the back of the cave, and was already a wide passage. He was just in time to see the last of the ponies' tails disappeared into it. Of course, he gave a very loud yell, as loud as a hobbit can give, which is surprising for their size. Out jumped the goblins, big goblins, great ugly-looking goblins. Lots of goblins. Before you could say rocks and blocks, there were 6 of each dwarf, at least, and 2 even for Bilbo, and they were all grabbed and carried through the crack. Before you could say tinder and flint, but not Gandalf. Bilbo's yell had done to that much good. It had wakened him up wide in a split second, and when goblins came to grab him, there was a terrific flash like lightnings in the cave, a smell like gunpowder, and several of them fell dead. The crack closed with a snap, and Bilbo and the dwarves were on the wrong side of it. Where was Gandalf? Neither they nor the goblins had no idea, and the goblins did not wait to find out. They seized Bilbo and the dwarves and hurried them along. It was deep dark, such as only goblins that had taken to living their heart in the mountains can see through. The passage that there were crossed and tangled. You do it to the nearest post office. In all directions, but the goblin knew their way as well as you do to the nearest post office, and the way went down, and it was mostly horrible stuffy. The goblins were very rough and pinched unmercifully and chuckled and laughed in their horrible stony voices, and Bilbo was more unhappy even than when the troll had picked him up by his toe. He wished again and again for his nice bright hobbit hole, not for the last time. Now there came a glimmer of red light before them. The goblins began to sing or croak, keeping time with the flap of their flat feet under stone and shaking their prisoner as well. Clap, snap, the black crack, grip, grab, pinch, snab, and down to Goblin Town you go, my lad. Clash, clash, crush, smash, hammer and tongs, knocker and gongs. Pound, pound, far underground, ho, ho, my lad. Swish, smack, squip, crack, batter and beat, yammer and bleat. Work, work, not there to shriek. While goblins quaff and goblins laugh, round and round for underground below, my lad. It sounded truly terrifying. The walls echoed to the clap, snap, and the crush, smash, and to the ugly laughter of their ho ho, my lad. The general meaning of the song was only too plain for now. The goblins took out whips and whipped them with a swish and smack, and set them running as fast as they could in front of them. And more than one of the dwarves could in front of them, and more than one of the dwarves were already yammering and bleating like anything when they stumbled into a big cavern. It was lit by great red fire in the middle and by torches along the walls, and it was full of goblins. They all laughed and stamped and clapped their hands when the dwarves, with poor little Bilbo at the back and nearest to the whips, came running in, while the goblin drivers whooped and cracked their whips behind. The ponies were already there huddled in a corner, and there were all the baggages and packages lying broken open and being rummaged by goblins and smelt by goblins and fingered by goblins and quarreled by goblins. I am afraid that was the last they ever saw of those excellent ponies, including a joy-starry little white fellow that